Reliability is the one word every manufacturer promises and the one thing most never actually prove. Because chaos doesn't care about your trigger pull weight or your finish grade. It cares about whether your pistol cycles when your hands are shaking, your vision is compromised, and your environment is the worst it's ever been. 2026 platforms have answered that question. Nobody's talking about this. We are. This video is for educational purposes only and does not promote harm or unsafe use of firearms. Number 7. FN 509 Compact Tactical. In a world where chaos doesn't announce itself, the FN 509 Compact Tactical is built for the moment everything goes silent, and then suddenly goes wrong. This isn't just another compact pistol, it's a direct descendant of FN's military DNA, refined for operators who can't afford hesitation. Born from the same engineering philosophy that serves elite forces around the world, the FN 509 series earned its reputation through relentless testing sand, mud, freezing cold, and high-round stress cycles that destroy average handguns. The compact tactical trims that battlefield heritage into a smaller frame without stripping its identity. What makes it dangerous in the best way is its suppressor-ready threaded barrel, aggressive slide serrations, and optic-ready platform. Every detail feels intentional, like it was designed by people who assume you will be in a worst-case scenario. The trigger is crisp, controlled, and predictable under pressure, no surprises when adrenaline spikes. And its recoil management feels almost mechanical in its discipline, keeping follow-up shots fast and centered. This is the kind of pistol built for concealed carriers who think beyond comfort, people who want capability that doesn't disappear when things get real. Price-wise, it sits in the premium compact tier, but it earns that position through sheer durability and mission-ready design. Number 6. CZ-P10C. When people talk about pistols that quietly outperform expectations, the CZ-P10C always enters the conversation like a weapon that refuses to be ignored. It didn't arrive with loud marketing or hype, it earned attention the hard way, through performance that speaks louder than reputation. Built by CZ Group, this compact striker-fired pistol carries the legacy of Czech engineering known for precision, mechanical honesty, and battlefield durability. It was designed to compete directly with the biggest names in the polymer striker world, and in many ways, it did more than compete. The first thing you notice is the grip. It locks into the hand, like it was molded around human instinct rather than measurements. The trigger breaks clean, almost unexpectedly crisp, giving you a sense of control that feels sharper than its price tag suggests. Internally, the design is simple but brutally efficient. Fewer complications, fewer excuses for failure. On the range, the recoil impulse is flat and predictable, allowing fast follow-up shots without fighting the gun. In real-world terms, that translates into something more important. Confidence under pressure, when fine motor skills start to fade, matters. It's the kind of firearm that doesn't ask for attention. It earns trust in silence. Number 5. Beretta APX A1. Carry. Some pistols don't enter the conversation loudly, they arrive with quiet authority, like they already know they belong. The Beretta APX A1 Carry is exactly that kind of weapon. It's not built to impress crowds. It's built to disappear and still be ready when everything goes wrong. This compact carry pistol is the evolution of Beretta's modern striker-fired platform, refined into something slimmer, lighter, and purpose-driven for concealed defense. Beretta didn't redesign it for style, they engineered it for real-world carry conditions where comfort, concealment, and speed matter more than anything else. The first thing you feel is how aggressively practical it is. The slide serrations bite into your hand like industrial tools, making racking under stress almost instinctive. The grip texture isn't there for comfort, it's there for control when your hands are wet, tense, or shaking. Every edge feels intentional, almost tactical in its simplicity. Inside, the system is stripped down for reliability. Fewer moving complexities mean fewer excuses when the moment demands absolute function. The trigger is consistent and predictable, not overly light, not overly heavy, balanced for defensive shooting, where surprise is dangerous. On the range, it's not a show-off. It's steady, controlled, and repeatable. Recoil is manageable, especially for its ultra-compact size, which is where it quietly earns respect. Because small guns often compromise control, but this one refuses to fully surrender it. Number 4. Kimber R7 Mako. There are pistols that follow trends, and then there are pistols that arrive to challenge them. The Kimber Manufacturing R7 Mako falls into that second category. It didn't just enter the micro-compact carry market, it tried to redefine what everyday defense should feel like in your hand. Kimber built the R7 Mako with a clear mission. Combine precision-grade craftsmanship with modern defensive capability. Traditionally known for their 1911 style pistols, Kimber took a different path here, moving into striker-fired, optics-ready design without losing their focus on tight machining and refined finishing. At first grip, the Mako feels dense in a controlled way, like a tool carved for purpose rather than comfort. The stippling is aggressive enough to lock into your palm under stress, yet refined enough for daily carry. It doesn't slip, even when conditions aren't perfect. But here's where it gets interesting. This pistol was designed around optics from the ground up. The optic integration sits low and clean, giving it an almost futuristic sight picture for a carry gun. That translates into faster target acquisition when every fraction of a second matters. The trigger breaks with a clean wall and a decisive reset. Predictable, almost surgical. It's not meant to surprise you. It's meant to stay consistent when adrenaline removes doubt from your decision-making process. In performance terms, recoil is surprisingly controlled for its size class. It doesn't jump at tracks. Mossberg, MC2C. When a company known for shotguns steps into the concealed carry world, expectations are already divided. But the Mossberg MC2C doesn't ask for permission. It quietly proves it belongs in the same conversation as the established compact pistol giants. This is Mossberg's statement, that they understand modern defensive. Handguns are no longer just about function, they're about integration, control, and absolute reliability under pressure. The MC2C was built as a double-stack compact, giving it a balance between concealability and real defensive capacity. At first contact, the grip feels natural in a very unforced way, almost like it settles into your hand without resistance. The texturing is practical rather than decorative, designed for friction, not aesthetics. It stays planted even when your grip isn't perfect, which is exactly when it matters most. Internally, the design is clean and straightforward, avoiding unnecessary complexity. That simplicity is intentional. Fewer complications mean fewer failure points when the environment stops being predictable. The slide cycles with a smooth, consistent rhythm that reflects careful engineering rather than over-tuning. But here's where the MC2C starts to stand out. Its shootability. For a compact pistol, it manages recoil in a way that feels unusually calm. It doesn't fight your wrist, it guides it back into alignment, making follow-up shots feel controlled instead of rushed. The trigger is crisp, with a defined break. Not overly light, but structured enough to keep discipline under stress. Number 2. Canik Meet SFT. There are pistols that slowly earn a reputation, and then there are pistols that arrive and immediately disrupt the entire conversation. The Canik METE SFT belongs to that second category. It didn't crawl into the market, it stepped in with confidence, forcing shooters to rethink what value actually means in a full-size defensive platform. The Meta SFT is built on Canik's evolution of duty-grade design, shaped by competitive shooting influence and real-world defensive demands. It's larger than typical carry pistols, but that size is intentional. It gives the shooter stability, control, and a level of shooting comfort that smaller frames simply can't replicate. The first impression is control. The grip is sculpted with deep, aggressive texturing that feels almost locked in once you establish a proper hold. It doesn't slide, doesn't shift, it anchors your hand like it was designed for high-stress repetition. Everything about the frame feels tuned for consistency rather than compromise. But here's where things change. The trigger. Canik built its reputation on triggers, and the Meet SFT continues that legacy. It breaks with a clean wall and an almost competition-grade reset. Under rapid fire, it feels like the gun is keeping pace with your intent instead of slowing you down. Recoil management is where the full-size platform shows its strength. The weight and geometry work together to keep the muzzle flat, allowing faster follow-up shots without losing sight alignment. It feels controlled, almost disciplined, even during aggressive strings of fire. This is not a subtle concealment piece. Number 1. Staccato C2. There are pistols that try to compete in the modern striker-fired world, and then there are pistols that simply operate on a different level of engineering philosophy. The Staccato C2 belongs to that elite category where performance isn't advertised, it's expected. The C2 is essentially a compact evolution of a duty-grade 2011 platform, blending classic 1911 inspired control with modern double-stack capacity. It was designed for shooters who refuse to accept the usual trade-off between concealability and high-end performance. This is where craftsmanship meets combat practicality. At first grip, it feels different from polymer compacts. There's a solidity to it, steel frame precision, that changes how recoil behaves in your hand. The balance is deliberate, almost engineered for speed shooting under control rather than casual range use. It doesn't feel light. It feels planted. But here's where it becomes dangerous in the best way: the trigger. It's one of the defining traits of the platform. Clean break, glass-like reset, and a level of predictability that almost feels unfair compared to standard striker-fired pistols. Under pressure, that consistency becomes a major advantage. On the range, the C2 tracks like it's glued to the target. Recoil doesn't jump, it rolls. That means faster sight recovery, tighter shot placement, and a shooting rhythm that feels more like controlled precision than reactive firing. Outro. And that's the truth about these 2026 pistols built not for comfort, but for chaos. Each one carries a different legacy, but the same mission: never fail when it matters most. Now tell us, which one would you trust when everything goes wrong?